Hello everyone. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys new ways to utilize your Summon Hydra spell, how to utilize it better, and hopefully evolve your Warlock skills to the next level. So, Warlock is usually awful in melee fights. Like, unless you specifically build tanky with high action speed and damage to make it work. And even then, it can be quite underwhelming to say the least, and usually it is. Like you will often find yourself being outclassed, by other melee classes like fighters, barbarian and cleric in a straight up brawl. Either from their perks and base stats just being way better than yours, or them having better, access to, better weapons, or they just, have better skills. Like, clerics, for example, having smite, so they can just straight up out, just shit all over you. So yeah, this conundrum has forced me to evolve how I play Warlock and forced me to work around the limitations of my class in some subtle creative ways, which led to me making this video and hopefully helping all of you out there who might be having the same struggles I do and, just want to learn new things about, Warlock. So first off, I'm going to show you guys a new trick that I've cooked up since the introduction of Phantomize Cancel. I'll call this one the Phantom block if you guys don't mind. So what this essentially is Hydra door blocking, but like on steroids.
Killing tree. Yeah.
A weakness. Oh wait.
I barb.
A Hydra.
I Druid.
I'm in.
Fuck up.
I body blocked.
Damaging for you.
Yeah. Dead.
Dead.
So this is the reason I've been using Phantomize more lately in trios, for those who watches me on Twitch, but yeah, I find it immensely satisfying to do, since there's very little people can actually do to counter this if you catch them like, in a traffic jam. And obviously you're not gonna want to do this unless you're in like a build like mine, where you're like super tanky and you have like, fucking, a shit ton of HP and a shit ton of PDR. But yeah, if you happen to be someone that plays like builds that I do, then this could be a great addition, to your moveset. I recommend trying it out. And as for the next one, I'm going to be showing you guys some examples of how to cast your Hydras to aid you in a melee trade.
He has battle axe and Viking.
As you can see here, the barbarian decides to go all in on me. And what I do here is I simply do not let him leave the door frame, because, the door frames in Inferno are quite long. Like, as you can see, like it has like a tiny little hallway in it built into all the doorways inside Inferno. So if you actually catch someone doing this, like jumping over your Hydra, you can just do this. Like, you just stand and block their way, and now they're eating back shots while you're, shivving them up, which is a pretty neat little combo. Yeah, recommend you guys trying it out. Instead of running away from your own Hydra, like if you're healthy, like hold your ground, all right? Hold your ground, hold the line, and let them eat the back shots, and you will win the fight, all right? Because the thing is, if they decide to try to jump back, if you body block them, like, in time between your Hydra and your own hitbox, they actually won't be able to move. Like they can, because for them to jump over the your Hydra, they need horizontal momentum. So if you block them, tight enough, they actually won't be able to jump back out because they can't move. So they can't generate that, speed to jump over your Hydra. So they basically just kind of have to die, basically, unless they think fast enough to break your Hydra. But if they hit your Hydra, then you're hitting them in the back. And if you're hitting them back, you're killing them. So, and if they try to kill you before the Hydra kills them, it's basically like a checkmate, essentially. So yeah, I recommend you guys use Hydra, more like this. Block doorways with it, and if someone jumps through, block them from getting into the room with you. If that makes sense.
Just open the door behind you, no? Go back to Kaz. Kaz is fighting now.
Okay, I'm coming to you, Kaz. Oh no.
Hydra's
you can Phantomize to me. Phantomize towards me.
In this particular clip, I I'm forced to fight a Rondo Dagger fighter, and there is no way in hell that I out DPS him in a straight up brawl. So as you guys can see, I spawn my Hydra in to help me melee. Like if he's gonna stab me, I'm gonna force him to also tank the Hydra while taking my Crystal Sword hits. So yeah, if you do this in doorways, you're pretty much guaranteed to win the trade because this fighter here almost dies to like that one singular Crystal Sword swing and 3 Hydra shots straight up up his ass essentially. But he makes it out with like barely alive because his teammate is hit like phantomized through and hit me in the back with blow corruption, so I almost died. So I had to run out. And next clip, I'll be showing you guys what not to do.
They're like on the. Go to the other side maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, behind you.
He's going in on me.
Phantomize.
Yep. I phantomize. He's dead.
Nice. That's both. Nice.
Oh my god. So the mistake that I made here is that I actually backed up. I was scared, of the blow corruption, and I backed up and I let him into the room when I should have just held my ground right in front of the Hydra when he jumps over, and he would have been dead way quicker. But instead, I let him into the room. My wizard magic missiles and pretty clutch calls me to phantomize. I phantomize. I survive, and then I managed to win. But again, in an ideal scenario, I would have just stood there and just let him jump over my Hydra, and I would just been standing holding my ground, and he actually wouldn't be able to get into the room, and my Hydra would have been eating him up while I'm also swinging at him. So yeah, this is the incorrect way to do things. What I should have done here in this clip is hold my ground. So in this next clip here, I actually played this correctly. I didn't push out. I actually held my ground, and this is what playing this correctly looks like. So what I'm fighting here is a Smite Cleric, and basically I just lost my teammate to this duo. We killed one of them, and the Cleric is now reviving his teammate. And I just come back from healing, and I cannot, under any circumstance, let this Smite Cleric walk out of this room to start swinging at me. Because if I let him do that, I am dead. So I just simply play this correctly. So yeah, you guys can watch like what I do here. Like how did I win this? And you'll see that I simply did not, I didn't give up. I held my ground. I stood there and I just took it. I just trusted that my Hydra is going to do his job.
Nice.
As you can see in this clip, so I played it correctly. He walks into me, and I hold my ground. Even as he has smite running, he's spooky. I don't leave. I don't back up. I just stand there and just trust that the Hydra will actually kill him. Like I only hit him with 1 Crystal Sword hit, and the rest was just entirely the Hydra, just downing all of his HP, which is quite amazing. And yeah, it's changed a lot of matchups quite a lot for me ever since I started implementing like the Hydra into my melee combos. Like yeah, like you guys can see, it works. So now you might be wondering, how do you actually use this like in the open when there is no doorways? So yeah, I actually have a few clips of that. How I actually position around the Hydra when there's no door, there's no tight hallways or something to play around, just in the middle of the open. So I essentially I just juke and hide behind my Hydra while meleeing over it, and then cast my spells. That's it. I just stand behind my Hydra. If they move towards me, you know, I just walk around it. That's it. Just like in these clips right here. And yeah, that's it. I'm gonna weakness
Hit
him
him
now.
once.
I weaknessed him. I'm fighting him here. Dead.
Nice.
And then as for this next tip, I'm pretty certain that most decent Warlock players already knows how to do this. But for people who might not know this, so when you're looking to block someone with the Hydra, like when about to go through a doorway, I recommend that you cast it like just as they think they're about to make it through the door. Like, you want to cast it right in front of them. You don't want to cast it, too far in front of them where they have time to react, to jump over it. But instead, you cast it just as they're about to make it through the door. Like, cast it right next to them. Because then that stops their momentum entirely, like them walking straight into a wall. And what that essentially forces them to do is they have to back up, like away from the Hydra, and then go forward to jump over it. Like they need to generate forward momentum to be able to get over it. But if you place it just at the right time, it will stop them. And again, if you have a teammate or you yourself chasing them, you're right behind them, then they have to back into you, so you can hit them. And if you have a teammate that's really close, or for example, your own hitbox really close to them, they won't even be able to jump over it because they're stuck. Like if they can't move to generate the forward momentum, then they can't jump over it. So I highly recommend that when you're trying to block someone with a Hydra, place it like right before they right next to their hitbox, right before they're about to make it through the door, because then that will actually force them to have to back away from it and then jump over it. So yeah, but again, that's probably like one of the most well-known effective way to cast Hydras to block doorways. That's how you do it. That's how you block players. But yeah, just wanted to add in there in case people didn't already know that. In this next clip, I just want to show you guys that you can use your Hydra to interrupt the channel abilities. Like for example, if someone's like casting Magic Missile or Earthquake or Sanctuary, for example, the Cleric Healing spell, you can put a Hydra right below them to force them to, well, it cancels their channel, essentially. That's it. Back away from him if you can. Back away from him. Up Hydra, never mind. Ooh. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hope it was useful. And if you haven't, liked and subscribed already, please do. Because I don't know, every time I say it, you guys tend to do it more often, so I'm going to say it. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. I'll see you guys on the next upload.